Hey y'all, it's your girl Hope, aka your TV movie bestie, and I watch good shit. So let's get into what I'm watching today. Memory of a Killer. Now, Memory of a Killer is a new show on Hulu. This is the first season. We're on episode 5. A little bit of background about the show in case you don't watch it or you're wondering what it's about. Basically, we have a character, Angelo, played by Patrick Dempsey. So, yes, I'm glad to see McDreamy back on the screen every week. And he is an assassin, but he also has early onset Alzheimer's, or he's at least exhibiting some signs and symptoms of that. So, a little bit about him is he has a brother. This runs in the family because he has an older brother who has this for sure and is living in an assisted facility. And he goes and visits him like every day, checks on him. He also has a completely double life. So, on one hand, he's an assassin. His friend and nephew are his partners. And they think he's just, a bachelor. He ain't got no family. He ain't got nothing. He just chilling, tailor-made suits, nice Porsche car, all this. But he really has a wife, well, a deceased wife. We are still learning about what happened to her, but she's no longer in the picture. He has a pregnant daughter, and she's married. And so none of them know anything about each other. The daughter, she thinks he sells printers and fax machines. I'm like, girl, it's 2026. You know your daddy don't do that. Like, there's no need for that. But anyway, so that's this double life that he living. Well, in episode 5, we really get like the full kind of backstory of what's going on with him and his brother, how he's in this business. And I felt like this episode should have been like episode 1 or episode 2. Like, I will say, while I've been interested in the show, I haven't been like, oh yeah, I gotta watch. But this episode made me be like, yeah, what's about to happen? Because so far we just seen him doing his little assassin thing. Now, somebody did try to shoot up his daughter, and he had to get that under control, but still a lot of unanswered questions. So mostly that's why I've been watching, to be like, what's really going on? So episode 5, let's get into what happened this episode, because this was a good episode. So pretty much it's a flashback episode, like it happened 5 years ago, and then we get a lot of questions answered. So turns out him and his brother were both assassins. And his brother has started exhibiting like forgetfulness, kind of like what he would like days off, and they're like, you all right? And he's like, oh yeah, okay. So anyways, the owner of the assassin business is Dutch. And so Dutch is like Angelo, Patrick Dempsey's character, comes to Dutch and he's like, look, I want to get out of business. He's like, I've been in here for a long time, but now I want to retire. I just want to go live my life. And he's like, for real? Like, what you gonna do? You ain't got no family or nothing. He's like, I just want to get out. So he's like, okay. Now, unbeknownst to Dutch and even his brother, this was crazy to me. He has told a wife, like, hey, let's retire. We gonna move from the city. We gonna move to Montana, get us a little ranch, chill. So the wife is like, yeah, let's do it. Baby, she gonna quit her job. I said, whoa, sis. Like, I know he told you, like, go do this, but So she's thinking he's putting in his 2-week notice too. They both about to retire, live this little farm life, whatever. So Angelo, he goes to Dutch and he's like, I'm out the game. Is that cool? Because Michael, his brother, Angelo, Patrick Dempsey's character, his brother was like, you can't just retire. Like, you an assassin. You know too much. Like, you got to die. And so he's like, nah, I'm gonna go talk to Dutch. It's gonna be cool. So Dutch is like, okay. And so he's like, that's it? Like, I can just go? And he's like, well, it's one other problem. So Dutch tells him that his brother, JB, has been stealing money and has stolen like $300,000. And so he's like, he gotta go. Like, we can't tolerate this. He's always been a screw up. Like, go handle him and then you can retire. And so he's like, okay. So Angelo, he confronts JB. He's like, so where are you getting all this money from? You wearing these fancy clothes, you got a Rolex, like where you get all this from? So JB says, I ain't stealing, like I wouldn't steal from my brother. He's like, I've been doing a little gambling thing on the side, and that's how I got this money. And so Angelo's like, nah, because he was kind of a known liar. They don't really trust him. And he's like, yeah, I don't believe you. And he said, no, like for real. He's like, I give Michael, Angelo's brother, with the symptoms of early onset dementia, Alzheimer's. He's like, I give him all the receipts. He's like, lately, I don't know what's been going on with him. He can't remember stuff. Like, he's all over the place. And so Angelo's like, okay. So he goes to confront his brother, like, what's really going on? So he shows up at the office. His brother's not there, but in his office are all these like Post-it notes, like do this and make a deposit here and do this, because Michael handles the books. And so he's like, what the hell going on here? So he goes to his brother and he's like, what's up? Like, JB stealing. He said he giving you the receipts. I go to your office. It looked like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? What's going on? And so Michael's like, I don't know. He's like, something wrong with me. I can't remember stuff. I can't keep up with things. He's like, I don't know, but something ain't right. And I've been trying to like, make little notes and keep everything together. But yeah. So Angelo's like, okay, don't worry about it. Like, we're going to take you to the doctor. We'll figure out what's going on. So he go to the doctor, he gets some analysis, and the doc is like, yeah, I think it's early onset Alzheimer's. So Angelo's like, what? Like, what I'm gonna do? Because if Dutch find out, like, he for sure gonna kill him. And so Angelo devises this plan where he's gonna set JB up. Now, this is where, in my mind, I just kept thinking of the Best Man soundtrack, that song, what can a brother do for me? He can help me be the best man I can be. Because when I tell you Angelo was down for his brother, like, yeah. Angelo said, I don't care what I gotta do, but my brother is not about to get hurt. My brother ain't finna go down for this. And yeah, he went to work. So he goes to the nephew of Dutch, now Dutch, I failed to mention this, but Dutch, to like clean his money or whatever, he has an Italian restaurant. And so the nephew, he works in the restaurant, but the nephew is like, y'all gangsters, like, I'm trying to be down, I'm trying to be a thug too. And so, his uncle is just like, you ain't ready, stay washing the dishes in the kitchen. So Angelo goes to him, he's like, hey, you trying to get really down, you trying to get this work? And so he's like, Dutch respects people who show initiative. And he's like, word on the street is JB been stealing. And so the nephew's like, what? And he's like, yeah. So he said, I got a hunch. He passed him a little piece of paper. He's like, call this number. So the nephew looks and he's like, this is JB's ex-girlfriend. And he's like, call her, see what she know. So he's like, okay, cool. So in the background, in the meanwhile, Angelo goes to the ex-girlfriend and he's like, hey, you still hate JB? Like, you want to get back at him because JB was like a cheater or whatever? And she's like, hell yeah. So he's like, all right, somebody about to come to see you today. This is what you need to tell him. So the nephew goes, sees her. She's like, oh yeah, JB been stealing. Like, I've been knowing about it. He doing all this stuff. So, of course, the nephew reports back to Dutch. Dutch is like, yeah, we gotta get on this. So all three of them, the nephew, Dutch, Angelo, they all show up at JB's house. So it's suitcases packed by the door. JB like, what's all this? What y'all doing here? And so Dutch is like, bruh, you stealing from me? Like, for real. Like, after everything, you stealing from me? And he's like, no. I wouldn't even do that. Like, why would I do that? And he was like, no, I told Angelo. He's like, I told him, I got a little gambling thing on the side, but I can cut you in. Like, it's cool. I promise I ain't stealing. So the nephew was kind of like, looking around the house and stuff. Why he found a bag of money in the corner, pour this out, stacks on stacks, racks on racks. I said, well, JB, it's been nice knowing you. So, of course, Dutch is like, I can't believe this. And he's like, you know what? You always been trash. You always been a nobody. Like, this doesn't surprise me. So he's like, bye. And he's like, go ahead and handle that, Angelo. So Angelo, like, one shot to the head, quick. He didn't even think about it. I was like, Angelo said, it's my brother or his brother. And today it's his brother. So he kills him. He gets out. Y'all, they have a funeral and everything for JB. Like, Dutch did a nice little memorial. I said, So the ex-girlfriend, she show up, and she like, good riddance to this dude. Like, I'm glad he go. So anyway, so it seems like everything is cool. So Dutch then brings Angelo and Michael together. And he's like, now, before my brother died, he said that he takes all the receipts to you, like, what's going on? And so Angelo, he jumps in and he's like, he a liar. Like, that's why we had to kill him, And so here go Michael. Michael's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I got early onset dementia. I've been forgetting a lot of stuff. Like, I was kind of messing up. But here go Angelo, still like, ride for his brother. I was like, yeah. So he was like, he just took advantage of him. He was like, Michael was doing the best he could. And then JB was like, all right, I'm still anyway, because I can blame it back on him. And so Dutch is like, all right, cool. And he's like, well, JB was sorry. Like, I ain't gonna really miss him no way. I said, damn. So then he's like, all right, look, like, I'm sorry to hear about what you got going on. I know that's a terrible disease. And he's like, you just hang in there, do the best you can, So Michael's like, yeah, okay, cool. So Michael leaves. So now it's just Angelo and Dutch. And so I was like, Dutch played that too cool. Like, I'm pretty sure he still want Michael dead. So sure enough, he's like, Angelo, your brother gotta go. And he's like, what? Like, no. He cool. Like, he gonna be all right. He's like, nah. Like, he forgetting stuff. He said he don't know what's going on. And he's like, all it takes is one misstep. He'd say something to the wrong person. This all come back on us. Like, And he's like, I hate it. That's your brother. And he's like, but I just put my brother down too. So like, it's cool. And I was like, dang, you ain't love your brother. Angelo love his brother. So anyways, Angelo's like, no. Like, I can't do it. And he's like, look, I'll do anything, but not that. And so he's like, what if I stay? What if I don't get out? He's like, and so what you gonna do about your brother? And he's like, I'll like make sure he's okay. Like, I'll watch out for him. I'll make sure he don't say nothing. And he's like, and you gonna stay? And he's like, yeah, I'm staying. Like, if that'll keep my brother alive and safe, I'm in. And so he's like, all right, I know a facility. So that's how he gets to this place that he is in present day. Like, that's where he's staying. He set his brother up. His brother didn't really want to go because he was like, no, these people, like, they real like deep in the game. He's like, I'm just forgetting a little stuff. And so he's like, nah, you gotta go. I gotta keep you safe. Like, this is what you gotta do. Then we find out that apparently when they was kids or whatever back in the day, their daddy, was beating the shit out of Michael. And the last time, Angelo was like, I ain't having this. Kill his daddy. So I was like, oh, Angelo been doing this. He a killer. Like, okay. Now, I ain't saying he was wrong. Like, them people kind of deserved it. But, Angelo a killer. So Michael was like, you really ain't got to do this. Like, I'm the big brother. Like, I'm supposed to take care of you. You always taking care of me. I know you killed daddy. I know you killed JB to cover up for me. Angelo's just like, my brother, like, of course. So anyway, so he puts his brother in the facility. And then, now this was the crazy part. Go back to the wife. Okay, so they having dinner, She's like, I'm so excited. I'm glad I quit my job. The house on the market, it's doing well. They think it's going to sell pretty quickly. Like, and Angelo's just like, yeah, we not doing that. And she's like, what? He's like, I can't retire right now. People depending on me. The job is everything. I gotta, like, just not now. And she's like, wow. So I've always felt like you were hiding stuff. I always felt like you kind of were, like, teeter-tottering around. And she's like, but I guess, like, it's for real. Like, you really putting this job before me. Like, okay, what about me and my feelings? But he's like, no, I gotta do this. So also, which I forgot to mention this, but this was wild to me. So once Angelo found out that Michael had early onset Alzheimer's, he decides to introduce his family to his brother. Like, y'all, his own brother didn't even know he had a family. Y'all, he got a full-grown daughter who having a baby and married. And he's like, I want you to meet my family because, now you sick. I said, Angelo, what? So he's all prepared to introduce him. He takes him over, brings him home one day, and Michael sees, like, the life that he has, and he sees how his wife loves him and all this, and he's just like, nah, I can't ruin this for you. I can't have you tell your wife of 25 years that you've been lying to her. Like, baby, yeah, because that'd have been it. Like, I'd have been so out of there. Sir, we not retiring like we plan to retire, and you got a whole brother we ain't known about? So anyway, Michael's just like, oh, I'm just, a coworker, blah, blah, blah. So she ain't even know. I said, But anyways, so back up to, where we are now. So we go back to now present day, where Angelo is on an assignment with the nephew, and they, killing somebody, whatever. And so then they get in the car, they're getting ready to leave, and Angelo, he starts zoning out because he really is exhibiting these symptoms. He's starting to forget things too. And he starts saying, he thinks that he sees Michael in the car. He thinks that the nephew is Michael. And he's just like, I did it for you, Michael. Like, I did it, Daddy and him. And so the nephew's like, Angelo, you all right? What you saying? You kill who? You kill your daddy. And he's like, your daddy and who? And he's like, JB, I did it. Like, he's like, I did it for you. I set him up for you. And so the nephew's like, do what? And so it kind of just like goes off because the nephew, because he says, Angelo goes, yeah, he wasn't stealing from Dutch. Because the nephew's like, yeah, I know you killed JB. And then he's like, yeah, but he wasn't stealing from Dutch. Like, I did it for you, Michael. And then the nephew's like, Angelo, you did what now? And then Angelo like comes back alert and episode fades to black and goes off. But yes, so I'm in now. Like I was watching it to see where it's going. But I really was like, this episode did it for me. This one, oh yeah. I'm ready to see what's happening in the next few episodes, what's going to go down. But anyways, if you're watching this show, comment below. Let me know what you think of it. Who you like, who you not like. What are your theories about what's really going on? If you're not watching it, and maybe this sounds like something you would watch, go watch. And then come back and let me know what you think. But anyways, till the next episode, besties. I'll see you there. And as always, if I'm wrong, respectfully, I'm not. Bye.